Hello dear students, welcome to Devika's Commerce and Management Academy. In company law, we are discussing about company secretaries. So company secretaries, types of company secretaries, we have seen appointment, qualification, and also what kind of appointments will be there, that we have seen in the previous classes. Today we will see duties of company secretaries. So mainly the duty of company secretary, it depends on the appointment, nature of the business, nature of the job, and the rights and duties which are given to the secretaries. So based on this, their duties will be defined, that we can decide about the duties. Mainly any company secretary's duties will be two types. One is statutory duties, mandatory, need not to say that you have to do is this is compulsory statutory duties, and second one is general duties. Okay. So statutory, general duties. What are the statutory duties? Statutory duties means all these things comes under the statutory duties. What are all these things? First thing is that maintenance of the records. Records means it can be company accounts records, or it can be company meeting records, resolutions records, minutes of the meeting records, anything related to the company recorded work. All these records, he has to be very careful, he should have a sound knowledge. So that's about the recording of the transactions of every organization. So that has to be maintained properly. Next one is that filing the necessary returns. Filing the necessary returns means related to the company, sometimes they have to file certain certificates, certain documents to the company registrar as per the 1950s company registrar. They have to submit, they have to return that. So that is the minimum responsibility, statutory compulsory duty of every secretary, company secretary. So filing the necessary returns, and in the same way supervising the issues, allotments, transfer and forfeiture of shares. Every company's main capital is accumulated from the issue of shares. So when issue of shares are there, how we are issuing the shares, how many shares are issuing, how many debentures are issuing, so when will be the allotment, so related to the allotment, and then after that transfer of the shares, what is the procedure, and forfeiture. Forfeiture means when allotted company company shares are allotted and the shareholder is unable to make the payment, then up to certain period the company will wait, after that they'll forfeiture the minimum amount whatever is paid. So what is this procedure? Supervising in all these transactions like issue of shares, allotment of shares, transfer of shares and forfeiture of shares. All these things are the duties of the compulsory and statutory duties of company secretary. In the same way, he has to be very careful about conduction of the meeting and recording of the meeting. Conduction of the meeting. Meetings can be between the board of directors, meeting can be annual general meeting or emergency meeting, casual meeting, other meetings, like we have discussed company meetings. Whatever may be the meeting required for the organization, that is the minimum duty of company secretary to decide that meeting, what meetings are to be conducted, when they have to conduct it, and what happened in the meeting, that recording, documents, resolutions, everything he must be very careful. And next one is that safe custody and proper use of common seal. You know that company is artificial company. So the company's activities can be done through the common seal. That common seal is to be protected, safeguarding and proper use and protection of this common seal is the duty of the company secretary. He has to be very careful. If he is ignorant and if he is negligent, then there may be a misuse of common seal. Common seal is the authority, right? So that is why he has to be very careful about the proper usage of the common seal. Next one, income tax related transactions. Like income tax related company transactions, like how will be the files to be returned, income tax related like sales tax and the export tax and property tax, like all different kinds of taxes, he has to be very careful. And in the same way, Stamp Act, he has to be very careful about the Stamp Act also. When it will be the Stamp Act will be the whenever you are purchasing anything like shares, you are purchasing any kind of documents we are preparing or any kind of agreements we are doing, at that time right amount is fixed on the documents or shares. that he has to be very careful. So related to the Stamp Act, every Stamp Act is saying something like when you are having an agreement, this much of amount stamp you have to purchase it. So that he has to be very careful, and he cannot say excuses later that I don't know, I have no knowledge and unexpected it happened. That kind of excuses he cannot give it. So that is as per the Stamp Act, he has to be very careful. Next one is Sales Act also. Sales Act also, he must be very careful that how much are the sales of the company and what is the Sales Act rules and regulations that has to be implemented. All these things he has to be very careful. These are all the statutory duties, mandatory duties. He has to do that. So it's the minimum responsible, minimum duties of every company secretary, statutory duty, mandatory, compulsory duties. Next one is general duties. General duties, 4 types of general duties are there. One is duties in relation to directors. Duties related to directors. For directors, this company secretary is a personal, reliable advisor. Personal advisor, reliable advisor, a confidential advisor. So that is why it is the minimum duty of every company secretary to give the proper information to the directors, and he has to be very careful about the company directors meeting and company to shareholders meeting, and to protect always the directors and the company prestige, and giving the proper information to the directors and giving advices to the directors related to the company activities, what is going on, because he is having the maximum knowledge about the organization. So that is why he has to be very careful, he has to guide, he has to give the proper information, and he has to protect the company prestige and everything related to the directors or related to the company. So that is the minimum duty of every company secretary towards the directors. Next one is that duties in relation to shareholders. Who are the company owners? Shareholders. Related to company shareholders, every organization is very much careful, because if shareholders are in our control, if shareholders are reliable, if shareholders are having trust about the organization, then automatically our organization can do lot of activity. They can raise the capital, they can gain the confidence of the people automatically. The expansion, everything is possible. That is why related to the shareholders, what is the duty of company secretary? He has to give the proper information to the shareholders, like what is the position of the organization, and he has to convince, he has to give the related information related to the company, like when the company is going to issue the shares, what are the main duties and everything, and whether it's going properly or not, confidential, sometimes advising, and he has to be very tactful in handling the shareholders. Tactful in the sense, he has to give the advices and he has to take the trust of the shareholders also. So smartly, softly and tactfully he has to handle the shareholders. Shareholders are going to trust the company secretary because he is having the lot of command over the organization. So that is why duties towards the shareholders is important. Then after that, duties towards the public. Public means nothing but stakeholders who are directly or indirectly connected with the company, like company directors, company employees, company shareholders, auditors, and who wanted to put their investments, who has given loans, and who are directly or indirectly purchasers or vendors. All these people, we call them as public only. He has to be carefully handle that public also, all the people, because he has maximum knowledge about the organization activities. Anything people are expecting, that is the minimum responsibility of company secretary, to give the information to the people. And next one is the duties towards organization and office. You know that company secretary means they should have a good understanding about the entire organization, like what is happening in the organizations, how the organization is going on, any kind of disputes, any kind of problems, that he has to be very careful. So in that procedure, he should have a good relation with all the office members, all the staff members. He should maintain a harmonious relations, and he has to give proper information. He has to take the proper information from the people. He has to give the proper information. It is nothing but give and take policy. In that way, he has to maintain a very good relation with the office and organization. Every corner of the organization he must have good knowledge. Suppose this is the organization. So here is sales department, here is purchase department, here is finance department, marketing department, and also admin department, okay, R&D or board of directors, like different corners are there. From every corner he must have good knowledge. So he should be in a position to give the proper information, correct information. So that is very much important. Take a screenshot or note down. So we have discussed today duties of company secretary, very important, because he is the all-rounder, he is the confidential officer, personal officer, okay, he has a very good knowledge. Then what are the main duties? Means we have discussed today mainly statutory duties and general duties. Statutory duties are all these things. General duties we have discussed about the directors, shareholders, and also public and office and organization related. That's it. Important topic, but easy to remember. Two things if you remember: statutory duties, general duties. Statutory duties are this, general duties are just 4. Like you remember, and inside of the matter you can write. If you think it practically, like a company and generally the secretary is doing this, secretary is doing these duties, like when you visualize it, you will be able to remember the subject very clearly. You will never forget about the subject. Don't study just for the sake of marks. For the sake of marks means you cannot remember the subject, you will not gain the proper knowledge. So visualize it and learn and study, then you will never forget any topic. So my dear students, check out the playlist for more subjects and more topics, whatever may be the course, and don't forget to share these videos. Good luck.